Did we win 3 last time? And we have one more this Tuesday, right?
You got your guitar plugged in to
Yep.
the.
Everything's ready to go, Mark.
Thank you for all your help today.
You're welcome, Jenny.
Ah. Good. Hi, Mark. It wasn't the right, we turned it on, but we don't know why it kept clicking in and out, and we couldn't get the monitor to work properly. We need a setting, like something where we can just press a button, because apparently it kept going in and out, but we didn't change anything throughout the service. So I don't know why the sound was what it was.
On the internet, it was clear as can be.
Yeah, but you could only hear me, unfortunately.
No, they
But
couldn't hear you.
I was overpowering on the
No,
end.
they
Oh,
couldn't
really?
hear you. You kept, anytime you stepped slightly away from the gooseneck, my dad said he couldn't hear you at all.
Huh.
Are we starting soon?
Well, now they can hear that.
Oh my.
Wait, we're starting soon?
Yes, in the
Who the hell
next
is it?
minute.
This is it?
Shh,
This
shh, shh. Language.
is it
I
for
just
family
muted
service?
him. Actually, I didn't. I muted him in the house.
Ready?
Mark, is he mic'd enough to be heard?
He's using my.
Oh, very nice. All right, Shabbat Shalom, everyone. Go for it. We begin with Hine Matov, page 10.
Shana Tova. Gotcha. April Fools. Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom.
Always, as the psalm says, so good to be together. Very happy to see some new faces, some returning faces, and I've just come back from a week of prayer and study with 300 rabbis way over in San Diego. It was fantastic, well needed, and our first time gathering in 3 years, so very excited for that. And we were supposed to have some kids in here, but they're probably running late because it has been taking a long... Oh, they're upstairs? Well, I was going to say if any of the parents were in the room that they should come up and light the candles, but their youth advisors are in the room, so I'm going to have Matt McGoran come and light our Shabbat candles for us. Are right here. You can take your mask off for the mic. Oh, that's cute. How does this get? Please rise.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kidshanu b'mitzvotav v'tzivanu lahad likner shel Shabbat.
Amen.
Blessed are you, Adonai, our God, sovereign of the universe, who hallows us with mitzvot, commanding us to kindle the light of Shabbat.
Amen. And while we are up, this is the moment where we normally would put our hands on our children. And I only see one set of of adult child in the room, and then one set of skip a generation in the room. But the skip a generation counts. And if my daughter would come downstairs, it would be really awesome. But who knows? Who knows?
You better go to that.
Oh yeah. Why don't you go to your folks? Yeah, you got it. It doesn't matter how old you are, you're always your parents' child. So if you have your hand on a male identifying child, please repeat after me. Yisimcha Elohim Ke'Ephraim Umenashe. Which means may God bless you like Ephraim and Menashe, the only two boys in the Bible who don't fight with each other or their parents. And if you have your hands on a female identifying child, I'll put my hands up on my daughter, spiritually speaking. Repeat after me. Yisimech Elohim Kesara Rivka Leah Rachel Bilcha V'Zilpa, which means may God bless you like Sarah, Rebecca, Leah, Rachel, Bilcha, and Zilpah are great ancestral mothers, the mothers of all of Israel. And for everyone, Yivarechecha Adonai v'yishmerecha, may God bless you and keep you. Ya'er Adonai panav elecha v'yichuneka, may God's radiance shine on you and be gracious to you. Yisa Adonai panav elecha v'yasem lecha shalom, may God's face turn towards you and grant you peace. And it is only finished when you seal it with a kiss. You may be seated. We are going to continue on page 20, welcoming the Sabbath Queen with Lecha Dodi.
Shabbat
motions because I'm usually playing, so I didn't have to learn them. So thank you for teaching that to me. Page 32. Everlasting love you offered your people Israel by teaching us Torah and mitzvot, laws and precepts. Therefore, Adonai our God, when we lie down and when we rise up, we will meditate on your laws and your commandments. We will rejoice in your Torah forever. Day and night we will reflect on them, for they are our life, and doing them lengthens our days. Never remove your love from us. Praise to you, Adonai, who loves your people Israel. Baruch atah Adonai, ohev amo Yisrael. Be seated. We have some special guests here this evening, our youth groupers, who are here for an overnight. It's an April Fool's prank on our youth advisors, and so while your parents have paid a very small fee to have you here, you also have a fee to be here tonight, and that is to help lead us in Ve'ahavta right now. Come on up, everybody. I know you know it. Those of you following in your Siddur, it's on page 36. Hi, Douglas. Leah. Two sets of twins here tonight, and I said hello and guessed the correct name for both of them. It's gonna be a good night. I can't tell them apart.
You're not supposed to admit that.
Oh, no, they know.
Oh.
We continue with Micha Mocha on page 40. wanted you to do something with these. This one should be a little bit more raucous. Page 44, Vishamru. To rise for the Amidah, and as we do, just because there are a couple new faces, just a reminder, we add Bilcha and Zilpa to our imahot, to our mothers during the Avot section. You'll catch along pretty quickly. It's just four quick words. I had to count math, So just like Ginger and Mr. Farrow I'm not even going to guess which, are demonstrating. We're going to rise, and after our first three blessings, we'll take a few moments to offer whatever prayers are in our own hearts. Amidah begins on page 46. Thank you, Douglas.
Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu v'Elohei avoteinu v'imotenu, Elohei Abraham, Elohei Yitzchak, Elohei Yaakov, Elohei Sarah, Elohei Rivka, Elohei Rachel, Elohei Leah, Elohei Bilcha, Elohei Zilpah, Ha'el Hagadol, Hagibor v'Hanara, El Elyon, Gomel Chasadim Tovim, V'konei hakol, v'zecher chazdei avot v'imahot, u'mevi geula livnei v'nehem, leman shemo ve'ava, melech ozer u'moshiach u'magen, Baruch atah Adonai, Magen Avraham v'ezrat Sarah, atah gibor le'olam Adonai, mechayei hakol atah, rav v'hoshia, mashir haruach u'mori hagashem, Mechakel Chaim bechesed, Mechayei hakol berachamim rabim, Somech noflim v'rofei cholim, Umatir asurim, Umekayem emunato lishenei afar, Michamoch habal gevurot, Umidom melach, Melech mimit umechayem, Umatzniach Yeshua, Nemana talachayot hakol, Baruch atah Adonai, Mechayei hakol, Atah kadosh v'shimcha kadosh, Ukedoshim b'chol yom, Yehalelu ha'sela, Baruch atah Adonai, Ha'el hakadosh.
Take a moment moment for our own personal prayers, and when you're finished, you may be seated.
Shalom Rav Yisrael Amecha Tasim Le'olam. Shalom Rav Yisrael Amecha Tasim Le'olam. Ki ata melech adon Lechol hashalom. Ki ata melech adon Lechol hashalom. Shalom Rav Yisrael Amecha Tasim Le'olam. Shalom Rav Yisrael Amecha Tasim Le'olam. V'tov beinecha levarech et Amecha Yisrael bechol עת ובכל שעה לשלומך. Shalom Rav Yisrael Amecha Tasim Le'olam. Shalom Rav Yisrael Amecha Tasim Le'olam. Tasim Le'olam. Tasim
Continue with Seder Kriyat HaTorah, our service for reading the Torah, page 246. Page 246, please rise.
Baruch Shenatan Torah
So on the first Friday of the month, I like to tell a story rather than give a Devar Torah, a little lighter, family Shabbat, camp style. And this one is one that I've told before. It's been a while. Jen and I were debating how long it's been. She says she remembers it very well, but that could just be because it's a great story. Now, this is about my Uncle Max. Now, those of you who remember my Uncle Max, he was a traveling salesman. He would go from town to town, and this was in Europe. So he'd go from town to town, selling whatever and collecting whatever to purchase so he could sell it somewhere else. Silks and cloth, knives, tools, trinkets, jewelry, toys, whatever he could find, he would buy them in one town and sell them at the next. And usually on a Friday evening, he would try to find a Jewish home where he could stay and spend Shabbat because he didn't work on Shabbat. So he would stay all through Shabbat, and then after Havdalah, he would go back and start traveling again. So he went to this town. Sometimes it was in Poland. Sometimes it was in Russia. He didn't know that at the time. So this town called Minsk. And he's walking around the town, and it's, Friday early, and there's this huge wall in the middle of the town. He's looking at the wall, and he doesn't know of any enemies among peoples in this part of the world. So it's a little daunting. He's a little confused, but he's spending his time, and he says to somebody, "Hey, what's on the other side of that wall?" And someone said, "That's Pinsk. We don't like them. We don't talk about Pinsk. No." And that's what they said. You thought Lin-Manuel Miranda wrote that. So, as the day goes on, he doesn't bother with why, and he sees the sun starting to get low in the sky. He finds a family to sit with, and he hears something all throughout the town, this relaxing music. People are humming or la-la-laing or whatever it is, and they're saying, "Hey, oh, oh, hey." Try that. Hey, oh, oh, hey. Easy, keep going. Hey, oh, oh, hey. Keep going while I talk. There you go. You've got this. So he realizes this is beautiful, relaxing music to bring in Shabbat with peace and quiet, tranquility. And he's loving it. He enjoys his time with his family, and as the meal winds to an end, he says, "Tell me about Pinsk." And it gets quiet. And they go, "Oh, they have no respect for Shabbat. They completely ruin our tranquility, our relaxation. Every week we get in the mood for Shabbat with our beautiful melody, and it's terrible over there." Now, Uncle Max is intrigued. So he doesn't bring it up again because he sees there's a little tension, and he spends his week, and he winds his way back at the end of the week to the other side of the wall. And on Friday afternoon, sun is starting to get low, and he says, "Hey, I was in Minsk last week," and they went, "Oh, them, really? You were in Minsk last week? We don't really like them very much. They're such buzzkills. They totally ruin our Shabbat experience every week, and they don't understand how to really bring in Shabbat with joy like we do." And he says, "What do you mean?" And they said, "Well, as the sun gets low, listen, and you'll hear what happens." And sure enough, he found a family to spend some time with, and as Shabbat was beginning, sun was getting low in the sky, he heard la 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 la. La 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 la. La 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 la. La 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 la. La 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 la. Keep doing that. Beautiful. And as Shabbat approached, he's filled with joy. He hears this happy melody. You kind of can't help but skip along as people are singing all over town. I can't really hear the people of the town. And as they sang and Shabbat came in with joy, he said, "You know they have a song over there too." And they got quiet. Yes, we know. We know about their song over there. They totally ruin our joy, our vibe. We're trying to enjoy Shabbat, really feel that oneg Shabbat, that joy of Shabbat, and they're all, sad over there. Uncle Max is a little confused, but, he doesn't bring it up again because people. And so he spends another week kind of wandering close, and he finds himself back between Minsk and Pinsk, right as the sun is going low on Friday evening. And instead of going to a town, instead of going into someone's house, he takes off his shoes because he doesn't want to mess up the new chairs, and he climbs the wall, and he goes between the two cities, and he stands in between them. And so, if you're on this side of the wall, you're going to be Minsk. Do you remember how Minsk goes? A-O, O. Minsk is a little louder. And on this side of the wall, he heard Pinsk. Hold on a second. La 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 la. And he happened to have a pickaxe with him that week because that's what he found to sell. And he starts chipping away at the wall. He breaks, not a big deal, something repairable in case he gets in trouble or sued. And as he chips away at this wall, he realizes that the people will be able to hear each other. I can't hear Minsk. And pretty soon, as he chips away at the wall, and the wall becomes smaller and smaller, and the town got louder and louder, oh, eh, la 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 la. Hey, oh, oh. La 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 la. He realized that they were joining together, harmonizing. And pretty soon, the people of Minsk and Pinsk started to gather at the hole in the wall. And at first it was a little competitive. They started trying to be louder than the other. And as they tried to be louder than the other, they soon realized that they were still singing together. They realized that they were harmonizing with one another, that together, even though one town preferred the relaxing element of Shabbat and one town preferred the joyous element of Shabbat, together they were able to make this music to get and see that Shabbat was all of these things. Beautiful. You all are so good at helping me tell stories. The same is true with what we do. We're used to our way. We love to do things the way we do them. And sometimes we see the way other people do them and we go, Minsk, Pinsk. But really, they're celebrating for the same reason, because they love it. Because they want to enjoy, whether it's the joy and celebration and laughter, or whether it's the relaxation and calm, it's all Shabbat. and it's all wonderful. So we're going to move back to Torah. And today, so as a professional Jew, we very often will get asked, like, what's your favorite part of the Torah? And I usually have like 20 different answers for what my favorite part of the Torah is. No one ever asks what my least favorite part of the Torah is. Well, it's this part. This week and next week. So this week's parsha is Tazria, and the best thing about it is that it's not Mitzorah, but that's next week. But the cool thing about Mitzorah in 2022 is that Rabbi Einstein has to do it. So we're going to be reading from the very beginning of Parashat Tazria, and yes, the entire Torah is our very best friend, but even with our actual best friends, there are parts about them that we're like, we could do without. So this is Tazria Mitzorah. It's all about like the yucky, gross things that come out of our bodies or that we have to do with waiting for purification things that Jews tend to not do anymore. But we deal with these parts because they're part of our very best friend, the Torah. We're going to read 3 very quick verses, and for the Aliyah tonight, I'm going to introduce you to a friend of mine who, his name is Max Antman, and he's not just my friend because he's named after a superhero, but that may be the last time I do that. This summer, I'll be taking the second part of my sabbatical from 2020, and having a space of quite a few weeks with me not here, rather than have different people each week, we thought as a gift to all of you, we would have Max come and lead services for us all summer. He is a student at HUC in Los Angeles, and just today I wrote my bulletin article for May, which is about Max, and mostly in his words, but that's okay, and sharing a letter that he shared with me. And so if you want to know more about Max, please, most importantly, come be here this summer. But also read the article on that comes out May 1st in our bulletin. So for our Aliyah, Ya'amod Yehuda Moshe ben Meir v'Zahava l'Aliyah LaTorah.
Baruch et Adonai Hamborach.
Baruch Adonai Hamorach le'olam va'ed.
Baruch Adonai Hamborach le'olam va'ed. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam. Asher bachar banu mikol ha'amim v'natan lanu et Torato. Baruch atah Adonai notein ha'Torah.
Amen. I did not mention I am reading from the very beginning of the parsha, page 826. It is very quick. I'm not translating today. Vaydaber Adonai el Moshe lemor daber el bnei Yisrael lemor isha ki tazria v'yalda zachar v'tim'a shiv'at yamim ki menidat dota titma uvayom hashmini yamol basar arlato.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, asher natan lanu Torah emet v'chayei olam, nata b'tochenu. Baruch atah Adonai notein ha'Torah.
Amen. Looking forward to much more.
Thank you.
The Torah open before us, we know God is listening closely, and even though we don't really deal with the afflictions that are described in this week's and next week's parsha, we are dealing with our own afflictions. We are dealing with things that are quite serious and that people ask for our prayers. This week, for our Mishabirach of Healing, we are thinking especially of Mira Adler, Cyrus Ahubim, Irene Borsis, Horatio Campos, Martha Campos, Myrna Capsudo, Sandra Cohen, Nancy Danger, Larry Dratch, Pilar Gill, Michael Gifford, Adrian Greenberg, Risa Heller, Bev Hirsch, Ira Hirsch, Julie Holdaway, Shannon Howard, Philip Klein, Lori Laren, Tricia Luce, Diane Merrick, Mark Merrick, Dale Perutka, Marlene Perutka, Ron Ross, Michael Simons, Robert Slade, Highland Slobodkin, Marlene Chergel Smith, Janice Tankinson, Mark Titus, Pam Zinner, Aviva Bat Moralea, Chaya Leah Bat Miriam, Sarah Rivka Bat Nisan, Hannah Sarah Shraga, Avraham Ben Tova, Esther Malkachana Bat Batya Ruth, Yochanan Atzil Shmuel Ben Avraham Vasara, Leah Bat Avraham Vasara, Tzipora Bat Sorel Velazar. If there are any other names for Mishaberach this evening, we invite you to say them aloud or put them in the chat function. Those whose names we say aloud, all those whose names we recite on our hearts or place in the chat, be blessed with a complete healing as we say together. Amen. We continue with Hagba and Galila, and as the Torah is lifted, we invite you all to please rise.
Vezot HaTorah asher sam Moshe. Vezot HaTorah. Vezot HaTorah asher sam Moshe. Vezot HaTorah. Lifnei bnei Yisrael. Vezot Happy and true of life, those that hold fast to
as is our custom, on the first Shabbat of every month, if you have a birthday or anniversary during the month of April, someone is getting called out. And I think his name rhymes with Preg Buhlman. Come on up, and if you have someone in your group who you've come in with who is an April birthday or anniversary, please gently shove them this way. A good month. And I would also like to give a little shout out to the Linder family in Athens, Georgia, a very close friend of mine whose second baby boy was born today. So, on his dad's birthday. So, happy birthday, Eric and baby boy Linder, who I will have the great honor and pleasure of naming 1 week from today. Yeah. So, we're going to put the microphone down and offer a blessing. If you would like to know what's being said, come back on your birthday. Aleinu, page 282.
עלינו לשבח לעשות הכל, לתת גדולה ליוצר בראשית, שלא עשנו כגויי הארצות, ולא שמנו כמשפחות האדמה, שלא שם חלקנו כהם, וגמור עלינו ככל המונח, ואנחנו קוראים ומשתחווים ומודים לפני מלך מלכי המלכים הקדוש ברוך ונאמר והיה אדוני למלך על כל הארץ ביום ההוא יהיה אדוני אחד ושמו אחד.
Our thoughts turn to those who have departed this earth, our own loved ones, those whom our friends and neighbors have lost, and those of every race and nation whose lives have been a blessing to humanity. We remember the holy martyrs of every age of Jewish memory, from the Crusades to the Inquisition, from the English expulsion to the Russian pogroms, from the destruction of the temple in Jerusalem to the destruction of communities in the Holocaust. Those who have given their lives in defense of our nation and in defense of the state of Israel. We also take to heart the 322 Americans who lost their lives to gun violence this week, as well as the Israelis who have been plagued by acts of terror this week. As we remember them all, we meditate on the meaning of love and loss, of life and death, perhaps choosing one of the meditations on page 288 and following, or whichever words the heart may prompt. think of our loved ones whom death has recently taken from us, those who died at this season in years past, and those whom we have drawn into our hearts with our own. As a reminder, it is our custom to rise when we hear the name of our own loved one. Tonight we are thinking especially of Kenneth Scott Goldberg, for whom we are observing Shloshim. We're also commemorating the yahrzeit, remembering the anniversary of their death this week, of Rachel Leah Eppelbaum, Helen Meskin, M.S. Bud Newman, Arnold Dobkin, Rose Frost Primack, Mary Citrons, Sarah Salzberg. Are there any other names for Kaddish this evening? Memories of all of them are with us. Our griefs and sympathies are mingled as we rise as one community to lend strength to our mourning friends and to stand for those who have no one to stand for them. Kaddish Yatom, Mourner's Kaddish, is on page 294. Page 294. Yikadal v'yikadash Shemei Rabbah.
Amen.
Be'alma di v'ra chirutei v'yamlich malchutei. B'chayechon uvyomechon uv'chayei d'chol Beit Yisrael. Ba'agala uv'izman kariv v'imru.
Amen. Yehi Shmei Rabbah Mevarach Le'alam Ulamei Almaya.
Yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitpa'ar v'yitromam v'yitnaseh v'yithadar v'yit'aleh v'yithalal Shmei d'Kudusha. Le'ela min kol birchata v'shirata tush b'chata v'nechemata da'amiran be'alma v'imru.
Amen.
Yehi shlama rabba min shmaya v'chayim aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael v'imru.
Amen.
Oseh shalom b'mromav hu ya'aseh shalom aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael v'imru.
Amen.
May the one who creates harmony on high bring peace to us, to all Israel, and to all the world, to which we say,
Amen.
you may be seated.
That's what I'm going to do. Yay. Hi. For those who don't know me, I am Ginger Schulman. I am a board member, a new board member, and this is my first time. What if I don't want to? Can you hear me? Okay, fine. They're telling me I have to do it anyway, so I am. Just want to thank Craig Schulman for ushing, and is there any other thank yous that we needed tonight? I think that's the only thing on here. And then second night Passover Seder. Yes, it says Seder. I didn't mispronounce that. Saturday, April 16th at 6 p.m. You can have a single meal, a two-person meal, a Zoom link, and digital Haggadah. You need to sign up. There's a address for the Zoom on today's flyer. If you aren't here and you want that, I'm sure Sarah in the office can give it to you instead of me reading it to you. And the deadline to RSVP is April 7th by 10 a.m. So don't forget that date, April 7th, 10 a.m. if you're interested in second night Passover Seder. And Shabbat Shalom. Thank you very much. Oh, wait. Oh, thank you, Jeremy, on the guitar for accompanying. I forgot all about you. I am so sorry. I know.
That link in the program is the link to sign up. You get the link for the Seder once you sign up and pay for the Seder itself. So Seder, Zoom Seder. We're going to continue with Oseh Shalom, and if the teens, I know you know this, come on back up. Let's have you up here again.
Excuse me. I'd also like to point out that you said Diane's last name wrong.
Salzman.
You said Saltzman. She wants me to tell you that. She was very strict
Come
about
on
it.
up.
You'll figure it out. Ose shalom bimroma, ose shalom aleinu. Ose shalom bimroma, ose shalom aleinu. Ose
Since you're here, why don't y'all help us lead Kiddush Motzi? Sure. Yes, we're ready. Hold it high. Hi, Eloheinu melech haolam, borei peri hagafen, Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, Asher kitshanu b'mitzvotav, v'ratza banu, v'shabbat kodsho, v'ahava uvratzon hinchilanu, zikaron l'maaseh v'reshit, ki hu yom techila lemikra'ei kodesh, zecher l'tziat Mitzrayim, ki banu v'acharta, ve'otanu kidashta, mikol ha'amim, v'shabbat kodshecha, ve'ahava uvratzon hinhaltanu. Baruch atah Adonai, mekadesh haShabbat. It's grape juice, Albert.
He's still chugging, though.
Douglas, since you're close, why don't you uncover the challah, please? Thank you. Beautiful. Now hold it high. I'm glad you held the challah high and not the cover. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, hamotzi lechem min haaretz. Amen. Today is April 1st, known as April Fool's Day. It's one of my favorite secular holidays of the year, as I can do things to people and then just smile and say April Fools, whereas the rest of the year I have to hope that they're not mad at me. Today I got a text from my friend telling me that his son was born, as I mentioned, and I texted back, Mazel Tov, but pictures or it's April Fools. It was true. Today's treats from me included soaking a toilet paper tube in water and crumpling up and calling a child to clean up after the dog. The best part was when that child could not find it. And so I picked it up with my bare hands and said, it's right here, and then threw it towards him. These wonderful moments are great fun for one day, practiced by many, adored by some, and in just one day, they're gone. Not so for Shabbat. Shabbat will be back in just 1 week, and that's no joke. We always find it a great joy to gather for our Shabbat celebration, and we look forward to seeing you live or online next week and every week. Thank you for being with us. Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat shalom.
Yes.
back to the default for Friday night. Because the first person that went up to that board was the drummer. Then it was Rena. Then it was Sable. Then it was, no, you were in between. So there were at least 4 people that went up to mess with it.
Right, but Friday night isn't the band set.
No, I know. There's musical Shabbat. Wrinkle.
Okay, so we need to.
But I put the settings on the Friday night also, so that the mics that I set up would work for Friday night or for either one.
So, if we
I plugged everything in before they got here.
Okay, so if you can, time to have a Shabbat, either text, if you're not gonna be here, text that to us to let us know how to get to that. I don't have the energy right now, I'm not feeling well to do that. I'm at the end.
It's not a text thing, it's a study thing.
Yeah,
That's
so
the
we have to
problem.
learn it, yeah, we have to learn it, like, it's not,
But
if you
again,
show
there's
them one, they should be able to do it. They
no,
should know.
it's I get it wrong still, having done it for 6 months. Because there's the main speaker,
Baby naming live, he
there's
already
your
wanted me
speaker,
to do it on Zoom.
there's his
Monitor.
there's her speaker, there's the stream output, and they all have different settings for every mic.
Named after me.
And they're all programmed.
But if you go to musical Shabbat scene, will that set all of them?
Yes.
Okay.
It takes it back to what I put in there. If you do that, it does boom, all of
And
them.
that's, and so we're, I think he also needs to
It's
know.
on the
Right, I meant, he didn't know where to plug in his, monitor, like which
I gave him a
input.
wire.
No, but there's an input, aren't you supposed to put an input? Okay, you come next time and just explain it to them.
I gave him a wire for his monitor, all ready to plugged into the right place, ready to go.
See, he didn't know that.
I give him a wire every time. It was there already for him.
I don't think
I gave Sable a wire for his amp. He used it. It worked fine. Set up. Just all set.
The baby naming is next Friday.
No,
Yeah, he was born today, so the bris is next
Where
Friday.
is it? But you gotta tell us.
well,
Because we noticed that under the thing his drum, whatever, that something was already plugged in. He didn't know that. It was that you had already plugged in the right thing. He didn't know that. He thought it was just something random, so he didn't touch it. So, certain things we just need to know.
I'm sure it can be done.
I can only do so much in my.
Oh, that's true. Yeah, it's true.
I had plugged it in. I forgot to take the wire out.
Well, we didn't know
Plug
that.
into the right place.
We saw that something was plugged in there, but what I'm saying is we didn't know that it was already plugged in. Like that hurt. We didn't know.
I have given that to him 6 times now.
It's completely fine, but he's a musician, and so maybe next time we get him together, just tell him, this is the thing, it's plugged into this thing. If I'm not here, it's here, you know what I mean? And then it'll be fine. And show them once that button, that scene button, because they didn't know there was a scene. And so they screwed up.
Well,
And then
But
move on.
we can hear the rabbi on the stream. You guys are all saying the mic's not working. We're just fine on the stream.
It was on Facebook that they were complaining too, so I heard that was a different.
Oh, it's always bad on Facebook. You shouldn't go on Facebook.
Alright, thank you so much for all your help. Okay, I gotta get going, now let's get on to your Bam Dam. See you next month. I'm gonna try and remember to text me if you can, okay?